Hello out to all you wonderful people. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy. Thank you once again for lending me your time and your ear listening into another connectivity video for me. And this I'm going to be talking about the possibility of a Jeopardy game if Primetime Live were to come back. And again, it's something, Primetime Live is something I think Microsoft really, they had a great idea that just, it didn't take off the way they wanted to, so they kind of canned it. I do really wish they would revisit it and bring it back and be able to bring stuff like Jeopardy to like a digital game show audience. They'll be like, I think that would be something really cool and interesting. So like you have a digital interactive game show where people who may have wanted to be able to go travel out to get to be on a particular game show, but they couldn't do it. They just haven't had the necessary time or available funds to be able to do it, and they may have an Xbox One. So they're like, this to me, I think would be a really good way to get more people interested in it in the overall sense, because you would be able to bring in more people who probably possibly don't even play video games. But getting on to Jeopardy. Obviously, you couldn't have Alex Trebek on there because it's just not going to happen because he has to do the actual live show. But I couldn't say Steve Harvey. I'm trying to think who would be a good fit for Jeopardy. Who would be? Uh, I'm trying to think. You know what? Screw it. I'm not even gonna worry about a host or whatever. Um, Literally, they'd have to do is run it just like the actual show, like the actual Jeopardy show. I would make the prizes a bit smaller, quite a bit smaller, because obviously these people aren't going anywhere to get to you. They're just playing online on the internet. Uh, so like keep the point system the same, where you have like for the initial round of Jeopardy, you have 100 through 500 points in like what 6 categories, and then Double Jeopardy, where you have 200 to 1,000 points in increments of 200 up for another 6 categories. Um, I would say it would be a good idea for the most part to keep. See, this is where I'd be a little bit iffy. I would want it to have categories that were related to video games, like a lot of categories related to video games, but then I'd also want it to have categories that aren't related to video games. So I think like a 50-50 split would be a good idea. Like where half of the categories are video game knowledge and information, and then the other half is just like general world knowledge and stuff like that, and see if people could actually answer these questions properly. And that way, it would also give a fair chance to people who may not know as much about video games. Now, and I think that would be pretty nice, just to give those people a shot to take on gamers on a digital platform where you can host a game show against each other. That would be really interesting. I'm trying to think of how like prizes and things could be doled out, but I think for the most part, like they did with the Wonderful 101, where you had people playing, the audience playing to earn the opportunity to join the show. Like have like 2 shows per night, and make it specific nights. That way you could have other nights for other game shows, but like 2 shows per night, two like I guess hour long shows. So I think that's how long Jeopardy was, like an hour long between the questions and the answers. But the way the game would be played would be, I think for the most part, either would be with Xbox One controller and the headset, or an Xbox One controller and the Kinect. Well, like those are the only 2 ways I could think to really play it. Mostly because of keeping voice recognition and having Xbox One controller would allow for people to quickly be able to buzz in to give their answers. So I was just trying to think how would typing be worked out. Because I guess you would have to have someone have the chat pad. That way they can type in their answers quickly so it'll pop up on the screen and they can say it. Because otherwise, people are going to be really slow unless they want to give like a full minute so that people can put in a proper answer. And that I mean, even with quick fingers, that's going to take a while because it's just without the chat pad, you're going to be taking a minute to do it. So I wonder if having a chat pad should be a requirement for this, just to kind of like make everything as fair as possible. I don't know, maybe. Or allow people, or even if they don't have an Xbox One, allow people to play it through Windows 10. I didn't even think about that. That would be a good way to counterbalance it. Actually, yeah, allow people to do both. Allow them to play it through Windows 10 as well as the Xbox One. That way, if somebody wants to play it on the Xbox play, someone wants to play it, but they don't have like a chat pad, they can just stream, I guess, to their PC and just to use their keyboard on it, or they could just play right off Windows 10 with their Xbox Live account. That makes more sense. And like that way, you have multiple options for input and everything like that, and they can still use their controller as a buzzer to get in and use whatever microphone or headset they have. I'm just overthinking. I was overthinking because Jeopardy is a really simple game. Now I say prizes shouldn't exceed like anything more than like maybe $200 or $300 at the most. So like gaming packages or like maybe even winning like a Xbox Live for like a year or two or three maybe. Just stuff like that, like things that won't take them out of the Xbox ecosystem. I guess you could say like that way it's like all the stuff that they're winning and earning feeds right back into Microsoft services and things like that. Like with any game show idea I talk about for this, which would be cool and interesting, and they could still run advertising, like legitimate advertising. Like, and this is again, I think it's just something that potentially would be really cool to do and see again. Because I personally liked One versus 100 on Xbox Live through Primetime Live, even though it was short lived. I kind of wish it would come back, so that's why I decided to do this video. But there's not much more I can talk about with Jeopardy outside of trying to detail all of the different categories that they're going to use. But I've already said, do 50-50 split. Do general knowledge and then gaming knowledge. Like, so it's as even as possible. Or and give a heads up on certain nights to have like special themed like shows. Like that way, if they want to step away from doing video games and general knowledge, they can have questions about a specific set of subjects and stuff like that. But again, that's stuff that regular Jeopardy does, so it's not really a big deal. But that's it. Thank you guys very much for listening. Keep your eyes and ears up for more stuff from me, and until the next time, please enjoy your games and peace out.